off your first coffee club order. When I was a kid, I liked Batman, Adam West. But then when they made the movies, I like the Avengers way more than Batman. And the reason I do is because I get Robert Downey Jr. in all the Avengers, where Batman was like Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. I like the continuity of like one superhero. One of the reasons I like marriage more than dating. I want to come home every night to somebody different, right? Not that I could. But the point being is I like continuity. I could never do this one-and-done stuff in college basketball. A new group of 5 guys every year? I want to be Gonzaga. I want some of my guys to come back. Like, if I get one superstar, like they have one superstar, it's going to be a one-and-done guy. That's fine. But Kentucky, this one-and-done stuff, it's a circus. They don't even make the tournament this year. I think it's wearing out Calipari. The recruiting's gone down at Kentucky because he's exhausted. It's the only basketball program with no senior night. Nobody lasts like a third year there. I like continuity. The idea that in college football, Brian Kelly at Notre Dame was doing this for a few years. Like he had a different quarterback every year. No. Now, I'll take a one-and-done guy if he's a rim protector. Like an international center, I'll take that. Because there's not many of those on the planet. But I want my same point guard for 2 or 3 years. The guy running my offense. I don't want to every year have a new point guard. That's not appealing to me at all. So I kind of like that Villanovas and Gonzagas, these programs that are built on, 3- and 4-star guys who stay a couple years are now absolutely, Gonzaga today is a better program last 5 years than Kentucky, who gets all these 5-star guys. They basically hang out at your airport for 5 minutes, jump on a new flight off to the NBA. I mean, it's just, I think frankly, Mark Few could coach at Gonzaga for 25 more years. It's not exhausting. It's a pleasure. I know Mark well. He's got a great system. He's happy every day. Calipari is exhausted at Kentucky. His recruiting's going down. It's too much. It's like people dating every night. Different restaurant, different guy or gal. That's just too much.
It does hurt the, consistency of your life when you're going through different things like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's why college football football is obviously more popular, but it has the ability to let us get to know the players more. So you see Trevor Lawrence for 3 years. You get to know him. You get to know these stars.
You see them get better and better and better and better. And
you know their stories. You know their personalities. You get a connection to them when they move into the NFL. Now, basketball is just structured differently. If you're a star and you can go to the NBA.
I'm not blaming the kids.
Yeah, no, it's not. It is what it is. But, yeah, there's something to getting to know the players.
Look at what we have in college basketball this year. It's a lot of places that don't get 5-star kids. Illinois, Gonzaga, Baylor. They get good players, but they're the overwhelming favorites. Most people think it's Gonzaga or the field or Gonzaga and Baylor in the field.
Well, the tournament is always fun because you do get to introduce to new players like that you wouldn't normally watch.
Right.
But not having Kentucky and Louisville and Duke
hurts.
in there hurts. But it shows you this one and done is great for a consistent year when you have everything the same. But when you have a lot of change and you got to implement new systems and you're missing practices and you're missing games, it's nice to have someone who's already been in your system for a few years.
By the way, this is interesting. Peter King's column this morning. Check out the biggest contracts in free agency over the past 3 years, all for $70 million or more. What's become of each? Trey Flowers, 9 sacks in 2 years for Detroit. Nick Foles, enough said. C.J. Mosley, good player, can't stay healthy. Kirk Cousins, meh. Byron Jones had a horrible year for Miami, although he's really talented. Trumaine Johnson, disaster with the Jets. Robert Quinn, 2 sacks, 15 games. He was a bust last year. So outside of legendary quarterbacks, Peyton Manning to Denver and Brady to Tampa, who are already Hall of Famers, already have all their money. NFL players in their prime don't hit free agency. And if they do, be cynical.
Didn't Dave Wannstedt talk about that last week?
Be cynical.
He's like the team that had them knows more than you're going to know when you're making these big free agent signings. Kenny
Galladay is the most talented guy in the market, wide receiver Detroit. But why are they letting him go? Now, he's coming off an injury, but why are they letting him go? Like, why is he available? It's like I can dabble. It's like almost buying a home. I'm cynical every time I read any real estate brochure. Charming means it's a dump and needs work. That's all charming means. When you see a home, it's charming. It's a dump. It needs work. It's a fixer-upper. It's a total dump. I mean, elegant means it's really expensive. Upscale, granite countertops, crown molding. I mean, you can read through all the lines, but I still buy homes. But I'm cynical. Every time I read something, I'm like cynical. Let me go see the house. And I'm always looking for value. It's the same with free agents. I'm cynical on all of them. But there are the Packers went and got Zadarius Smith. Very good linebacker, can put pressure on the quarterback. Green Bay did a really good job of that. They got Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith. Zadarius is better. Preston's good too. But what did they do? They waited and they waited and they waited, and they bought a house that was probably worth slightly more than they paid for it, and it fit really nice. They fit really nice into that neighborhood. It's all nice. I like buying homes when I can, if I sell homes, and I've done it enough in my life, but I'm cynical every time. Same with free agency. I always kind of like, why is Kenny Galladay available? He's too good for Detroit with Jared Goff not to keep, isn't he?
It's a gamble either way. You're going to gamble in the draft. You're going to gamble in free agency. But the difference with the draft is you're not going to have to pay the free agent prices for players when you're gambling.
Earl Thomas didn't work as a free agent. Le'Veon Bell didn't work. Here's the other thing I always worry about. If I bring a free agent in at a big price tag, what am I telling my players in my locker room? So I have a locker room full of guys, and I make a free agent the highest paid player. What I'm telling my guys is, I like you, I love him. So to me, the way that, like the Colts, and like quarterback I get. Like Minnesota needed a quarterback, so they pay for Kirk Cousins. Like, I get it, okay? The Niners needed somebody, Jimmy Garoppolo. I get it. Quarterback, take that out. Colts need somebody. Phillip Rivers retired. Carson Wentz. Philly's still paying a lot of that. But I don't love the idea. It'd be just like this company. If they brought FS1, they brought somebody in and paid them significantly more than all the current employees. Whether they're good or not, what's the messaging to current employees? So, by the way, Fox, if you're considering that, bad move. I would not do that. It'd be just not work at all. All right, Jonathan Vilma, interesting listen. He's going to be joining us. By the way, he won a Super Bowl with the Saints. Also, Demario Davis, great guy, be joining us too. Former Drew Brees teammate. Drew has officially retired. He goes off to NBC to do a college football, NFL, Olympics. I read this morning a bunch of stuff. All right, Colin right, Colin wrong. Hour 2 next.